So the first thing to look at is hobbies. Hobbies are super important, and most of us are aware of this part of the extracurricular aspect of education, and even for adults as well. Hobbies, passing time, is very important for us for lots of different reasons. So for children, how does this factor in? I mean, first of all, we're going to give you some guidance and some advice, and the most important thing is that exploration is the key. There are no set, guaranteed hobbies or pastimes or strategies that will work for every single child. And the whole point of it is trying to understand your child, their individual needs, their individual preferences, what really makes them tick. And by doing this and embracing these things and really helping them along those lines, following what engages them so well, you're going to get the maximum amount of, as I said before, conceptual development. So looking at hobbies, we're going to go through a few of them. The first thing that we need to look at is the most important, and this is reading. Number one is reading. We take this for granted nowadays, but reading is often neglected and not respected enough. Everything that we learn comes across through us taking in symbols and symbolism through reading, usually. And the more you read, the more you are able to understand. In fact, when you take any kind of reading or comprehension test, this is what it's all about. It's you're not taking a reading test where they test your oratory skills or something like that. You're taking a reading test because it's testing how much you've read historically over the past years. Therefore, how much do you comprehend, hence comprehension? How much do you understand because you've already been exposed to this language, these symbols, these references, these turns of phrase. Language is such a rich, it's impossible to describe, in fact. Language is what separates us from the animals. And this is the key for us to be able to transfer knowledge and wisdom, again, cross-generation, between generations, and also, keep it going over generations upon generations. So, for example, much knowledge comes from the fact that we've written it down, and therefore we have to read it from way back when, from, the times of past civilizations that have compiled lots of scientific, philosophical, etc. knowledge. Right. With that in mind, this is why it's so important for your child to be able to read fluently with confidence, because when they embark upon different types of academic challenges, they will be asked to read and understand. And usually if you're going for a good school in terms of 11 plus or 7 plus, or if you're going for a good university, when I say good, I mean, if we're aiming high, the expectations are for the individual to be able to read and understand quite quickly, otherwise they're going to fall behind. So it's key for all subjects, not just English, for all subjects. Understand, know what you're doing, jump in. How can we maximize on this? Well, reading should be a very social engagement between parents and children. We've lost a lot of that because of the way that the world has changed. But never fear, because we can still read, and we should still read using traditional methods, but there are supplementary methods as well. So we can embrace audiobooks, we can embrace digital ebooks as well. Technology is a boon in this sense, but at the same time, we should never rely solely on technology. We should also embrace the traditional methods as well. Reading is key. We have compiled a lot of reading lists, and we have lots of recommendations, articles, etc. to explain this in more detail, but it's super, super important. Next up on the hobby list is musical instruments and second languages. Now, these go hand in hand as well, because a musical instrument is essentially a language. When you learn to play, and when you understand chords, progressions, and octaves in terms of music, it's the same as using a language, because the voice itself is a musical instrument, playing on the vocal cords and utilizing the tongues and the tongue and the lips, etc., and the flow of air, etc. Now, why is this important? This is important because, again, to do with conceptual development. If you want your child to be able to embrace problem solving, addressing different challenges in a way that is logical and consistent with the way the world works, then a musical instrument is key. Okay. Second languages are great. If your family speaks a second language, then you want to really make the most of that. If they don't, then I really recommend that you add a second language to your child's extracurricular activities, because it really does open the mind and it helps them to understand that there are nuances and differences in expression and understanding that otherwise they would not know about. And or go for the musical instrument. Same thing again. It helps them to see the world in a different light, but along a logical progression with time, sound, and symbolism. And these three things are the key towards storing information, encoding information, and learning. Okay. Second languages and musical instruments, super, super important. The next three are more to do with, again, like I said, looking at what your child prefers and whether or not they can engage in these things, whether they're interested, whether they can persevere with it. But we're looking at coding in terms of computer program coding, which is obviously a magnificent skill to have for the future. And it's like a guarantee for jobs almost. You've also got chess and other interactive, engaging strategy games like chess and backgammon, particularly chess. I wholeheartedly recommend it as a chess player myself. This is it's unparalleled in terms of the amount of benefit it reaps. But you have to get in early. You have to encourage an appreciation of it and foster a keen understanding of the game, and look, we have some strategies as well. We provide this as well, where we open it up to young minds so that they understand how it works and can find similitudes in real life as well. And on top of that, we also incorporate, or rather we recommend, as well as incorporating Lego, Magnetiles, and other kinds of world building and engineering type activities. Even something as simple as Minecraft is amazing. So this is perfect for budding engineers and other people that rely on spatial awareness as part of the way that they learn. They're more engaged like that. It's also amazing for those who have motor skill impairments as well. It can help with those as well. So we've got both sides of the scales, those at the upper end and those at not the lower end, but those that need that little extra push. These types of hands-on engagements are super effective.